Hello everyone, welcome back to cosolix. I'm your host cosolix, and today we're talking about it's the real stuff in this video. This video, I promise, is going to help you more than any other video you've ever seen. This is the advanced gameplay guide for Brawlhalla. If you know the basics, you know your true combos, you know your strings, you know about the words and everything I'm talking about, but you need to know, how do you actually go pro? How do you get good? And what are the fundamentals to Brawlhalla that no one really talks about? We're going to talk about that right here. Let's get right into this. There's three stages to Brawlhalla. I mentioned this in a video or two before, but there's three levels. There is, I'm going to say bait question mark. You can call it like whiff. Stage 1 is like get your opponent to miss. Stage 2 is punish with a question mark. Can you punish them? Is it punishable? Should you punish it? It's a question that appears in your head, basically, of what do you do once your opponent misses. And then once you get a punish or not, it's stage 3 is the word combo with a question mark. Should you combo? How should you combo? What combos should you follow up with? When should you stop comboing? This is the basics to Brawlhalla, and it repeats over and over again. It's the flow of Brawlhalla. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to play a ranked game. You guys can decide to watch it or not. If you want to skip the ranked game, that is totally fine. Then I'm going to go over the replay of the ranked game. We're going to be going over those 3 stages and talking about them in detail. How do I use them? How do I improve at them? Why did I make the decisions I was making? And kind of, I want to get your gears flowing in your head on the advanced stuff, on how do you actually win in Brawlhalla consistently. I'm going to tell you that formula in this video. Let's get right into it. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to play ranked game. I don't know if I'm going to win or lose. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to play Macho Man. You may be wondering, hey cosolix, why is your elo bad? That's because I've been playing a lot of Master Chief, so yeah. I play a lot of Master Chief in ranked. 9 wins on Master Chief, so I probably played like 20 or more games because I'm playing against decent players. Oh, so my elo isn't that bad. I got 17th at Summers, that's not too bad. I think I can teach the basics. In the 3 stages I talked about at the beginning of this video, they don't exactly go as planned a lot of time. So it's kind of discussing them, like the getting your opponent to miss. Sometimes you don't need to. And I'll be talking about those situations when you don't need to. But it's basically you're asking yourself, like what should you do in that first stage? And then the first stage, what do you do once you get to the second stage? And sometimes you can skip the stages. It kind of depends. I'll be talking about everything in this video. Everything I know about going pro and the basics of Brawlhalla. You're going to hear so many tips. This video, I promise, is going to help you. Okay, I don't know this guy, so I should win. Why does that boot look like stretched? You see what I mean? That looks so stretched and scuffed. What? Okay.
3, 2,
let's try and beat Troll first. Okay, bike. I was clean. I was optimal. This guy's not bad. I think that hit. Let's go. Okay. That was a perfect game to watch over. He was only 2150. I had a bad start. First game of the day. Okay. Take a look at this now. If you decide to watch that or not, that's totally okay. Whoopsie. So we're going to go over not every single interaction, but basically this is the real stuff. This is the advanced gameplay stuff and what makes the difference between being a pro and not. So there's 3 levels of Brawlhalla. Again, the bait question mark, the punish question mark, and the combo question mark. The bait doesn't always mean like you need to get your opponent to miss. And I can kind of explain that when it happens. So right away, the word bait. How do you bait somebody? Well, you need to pressure them. So pressuring is talking about, okay, we need to get them to miss. And then let's focus on that one question. Getting them to miss, how do you avoid their attack? And what options do you have? So that's where movement options come into play. You can bait with movement. You can bait with attacks. You can bait with doing nothing as well sometimes. I don't know. You could bait by dodging, I don't know. But mostly it's movement and with attacks. So right here I baited with movement. And in Brawlhalla, there's 2 zones. I've talked about this in another video. I'm going to draw them out really quick. So there's the reactive zone and the unreactable zone. Unreactable is this guy's got an orb, so you can side light, you can end light, side light, down light, down light. And this area is unreactable. You can't react to what they're about to do. It's too quick. So how do you get someone to miss? You put yourself in that unreactable zone for a brief period of time and then put yourself out of it. In and out. You can go in it for a little bit if you think they're going to hesitate and then go back out after. If you just want to hit them straight up, you have to be in the unreactable zone. And then it's a little bit of like just knowing their positioning, and it takes a lot of instincts and practice to hit them out of the unreactable. So that first question, bait question mark, sometimes you don't need to get your opponent to miss. If your guitars and you're stacked, you can just end light them if you're on top of them. That again, when you're right next to them, it's unreactable. But the moment your opponent is like far enough away from you and it becomes reactable is when it's a bit more consistent. I'd recommend playing more in this this reactable zone that's outside of it, and then move yourself in the unreactable zone to get them to miss, because a lot of people aren't comfortable in this zone. So in this game in particular, I do some movement options when I'm really stacked, and you can see I get out. I'm stacked and then I'm out, and I'm using movement to bait. And that's the key thing. I was using the dash landing to get out of it. And I did a little dash jump. And the same thing here. I go into the unreactable zone. I get out. Then the end lights. And I almost get a free punish. So this is stage 2. I baited. Now the question is punish question mark. Stage 2. Can I punish this downlight? Maybe I could have with the downlight myself. I'm already dash jumping here. Maybe I could have nared right here. But C's already moving. It was a bad decision. So in the moment, I'm making the decision right around here. Can I punish this end light? I chose not to. And making this decision is crucial, and it takes a lot of experience. Is it safe to go for the punish? When I was getting good, I would think in my head, if it's not 100% guaranteed, I shouldn't be going for it. If we think of the pros and cons of should you go for this punish, let's say it has a 70% chance of hitting. 70% of the time, you're going to win neutral, and that's a free unarmed nair or something like that. That's like 10 damage. Let's go. But 30% of the time, I get hit. However, if I don't do anything, every single time, I'm not getting hit. It's a safer option. So think about attack accuracy. That's another key stat. It's total attacks you've thrown out over the amount of attacks that missed. I know baits, you can bait with attacks, so it's not really that proper. So you can think of it, total number of attacks you threw out that were intended to be a punish over the total amount of, or like attacks landed over the total amount that intended to be a punish. So it's just like attack accuracy is so key. I was not comfortable punishing this end light, so I didn't. It's better to not do it than anything. Then I did the exact same thing. Unreactable zone, reactable zone. I baited with movement. I made him really uncomfortable. He stared, he bites like a fish. And then I get a free unarmed nair. And that's stage 2, punish question mark. The second time, I'm like, I can punish this. I'm confident punishing this. And so I get the punish. Now, stage 3, combo question mark. Does unarmed nair have any true combos? No. Does your opponent have a dodge? Yes. So I can't go for a follow-up here, that's true. So I've got 2 options. I can do nothing, but then I also risk wake-ups, or I can kind of fall back by put myself in a worse position. The odds are he's not going to wake up and hit me here. So I probably do nothing. I actually just get the weapon, and then I dash a bit away. I didn't need to dash away. I probably could have gotten a free punish if I stood still. But I did the safer thing, and that's fine too. And then right back into stage 1 again. This guy is baiting with an attack. He's making me have the question, punish question mark. Can I punish this downlight? I said yes. I was wrong. A little bit wrong. And that happens. You're going to be wrong. That's totally fine. But I shouldn't have went for this axe side light. And that's a mistake I made here. Where it's punish question mark. I said yes, I was wrong. Then he gets a punish. Does he get a true combo? So now stage 3, combo question mark. Rinse and repeat. There is another level to this where once you're in a disadvantaged state, so once you get hit, there's a bunch of questions like, can I wake up? So there's another one. It's kind of like neutral again, where I can bait, or now I'm in this unreactable zone, I can just hit them upright. However, because I'm in the air, I have a bit more limited options, so I just dodge away. He goes for a downlight, so now I'm like, punish question mark, and I think I could, and I got the punish. Now it's like combo question mark. Well, he's got a dodge, so I didn't go for anything. I was kind of waiting for him to go for reaction. Goes for recovery. I'm like, punish question mark? No, I didn't avoid the attack. That's on me. Getting them to miss is in the first stage, you have to avoid the attack. That's another part of it. So it's like positioning yourself far enough away from them to react to it and avoid. Just like this. Where again, we're in that unreactable zone. I jump out of it to get a little bit further. Now I can potentially get a punish. I wasn't so comfortable with the punish, so I waited. And then he has no dodge. Goes for a side light. And I was in this unreactable zone. I'm too close to him. I shouldn't have been this close. I should have been a little bit further away, because then I could have hit like an axe side light nair into something else. And you can see the rinse repeat. So then he hits a side light. Does he have a true combo? He has a true combo. Can he keep following it up? I still have my dodge, so probably not. And he chooses not to. He chooses to wait and see what I do. So then we see some more baiting with attacks. So baiting with attacks is essentially going for an attack that is completely like unpunishable. You know 100% you are not going to get punished for going for this attack. The attack is either too quick, it's too far away, maybe it has momentum like Lance Nair and whatnot. A lot of attacks have a lot of momentum. Like my axe downer, I can drift with it. Drift is an important thing for baiting with attacks. Basically, it's making your opponent have a question in their mind. Can they punish? That punish question mark. And if they can't punish, you can trick them into thinking they can't. And that's baiting with attack. So here, he goes for a downlight on orb. I go for an axe down air. I didn't plan. I down aired before I knew he was downlighting. We were both baiting with attacks here, because they're both just unpunishable given the positioning. And we both don't go for the punish. So now we're in movement. Now we're in the unreactable zone. I get out of it. Now I can react to it, but I still just wasn't comfortable with that. Punish. And then, look at this. Bait, bait, bait. He dodges. So dodge is another way of being vulnerable. When they have no dodge and they're in this unreactable zone, like they can't really do anything. So I position myself, I get closer, and he can't react to this in time. So I win neutral because I get a punish. I get my true combo. Now, does your opponent have a dodge? He doesn't have a dodge. So I can go for a follow-up. He can jump out. What I like to do a lot on axe is go for this ground pound. He actually got a dodge. Did he touch grounded here? Oh, he did. So I didn't know he touched grounded. Okay, I should have known. He like did a full jump. But I assumed he didn't have a dodge, and I was wrong, so I went for the ground pound. Ground pound's the wrong thing, and we're talking about neutral. This guy baited me by having a dodge, so I go for an axe ground pound, and now he's got the question, can I punish? Yes, he can. Can he true combo? No. So he waits. I dodge. Then he's going for a nair because I dodged. He's waiting for that nair. And when you don't have a true combo and your opponent has a dodge, you can go for a read. You can go for a guess. you can just guess which way they're going to dodge by going for stuff that like covers a lot, or you can kind of do nothing and just react. So this guy was going for reaction. He was waiting for me to dodge and then tried to react to that dodge. Now we're back into neutral. I get the weapon. I was trying to combo off this axe weapon throw because he gets stun frames. Just slightly missed. You go in for a nair. Now we're both baiting with attacks. Now, again, we're in that unreactable zone. If I really just think I can hit my opponent and he can't react to it, I go for the downlight because we are stacked. He dodges it really nicely. Nice little reposition. But he wasn't comfortable punishing my downlight. It's kind of like too far away, bad positioning. I'm already out of there. So now we're back in neutral. I baited with an attack with the side light. And then he does a GC bike because it's just dumb and unreactable. And I'm trying to run away from it, even though it's unreactable like that close. It's a good signature. So then we're neutral. I'm like, oh, he's below me. Maybe he'll run into me. But also, Lance Dare has a lot of momentum. It's hard to punish. This guy's slightly off stage. I can hold forward with it. Maybe it was a bad downer for my part, but I didn't get punished with it. Again, we're in that unreactable zone. I go for a downlight. The bike again. Now he's got no dodge. No dodge. Side light. Dare. I go for an end light, and he just barely doesn't connect. He like jumps out of it. Maybe I could have dash end lighted, but that is unfortunate. He had no dodge, so it's like going for this end light's pretty safe. My finger is touching his hand, but it happens. So then I went for a side light because, again, unreactable zone. He's right in front of me. He can't react to a side light here, but he jumped kind of anticipating I could. A lot of people will go for these like movement options in the unreactable zone, and that's what he did. So sometimes you have to be like really conscious. Here again, we're in that unreactable zone. It's just I'm too close to him. It's just bad positioning on my part, being this close against an orb player, which is bad. So then right here, again, movement, and we're baiting with an attack. I go for Lance recovery, minimum charge. No chance he's punishing it. Like, look at the positioning. So I'm putting that question in his mind. Can you punish? He thinks yes. I go for a Sarah, which is also pretty unpunishable. I hold backwards because of the drift, and then he does a bike because the bike is dumb. Again, bad positioning on my part. But again, that unreactable zone, the bike is dumb. And then this is what I like to call a cross-up. It's again in the unreactable zone. Unreactable is kind of like you have to know where they're going to be, but they can't react to it. So I do a cross-up here because Lance, I like to be horizontal, and he does a gravity cancel downlight to anticipate it. I even dodge to get away from it, and it barely... My finger doesn't hit, but that hits. That's quite annoying. Wow, that hurt box is trash. That's partially not my fault. And then he gets a little 3-hit combo because I had no dodge, so it's optimal. And that's the same thing. Can you combo? So he saw, I just dodged. So he goes for downlight, nair, recovery. And the recovery, I even try and jump it. You can see me jumping. That's a jump frame right there, but it's unjumpable because it covers vertically. So it's very optimal. Maybe what he could have done, which would have been a bit more optimal, because I don't have a dodge, I would have GCN sigged here on Red Raptor. That would have killed me. That would have been more optimal. So we're trying to optimize parts of our games. We can kind of think about one at a time. If we want to optimize the whiffing game, we focus on movement, like the whiff question mark, bait question mark. Stage 1 is focusing how do we get our opponents to miss. So getting better at movement, going in and out of that unreactable zone, and then just pressuring in that kind of way in different ways and learning the different ways of pressuring. Then number 2, how do we get better at the punish question mark? You can position yourself more grounded to hit these true combos. I actually have sticky notes on my monitor to kind of help me with the stage 2. So I got a sticky note right here. This thing, it says grounded. Although it's backwards for you, but it's whatever. And why I have this sticky note is when I'm on the ground, if I can, that punish question mark, if I'm on the ground, I can do a Lance sidelight. And I'm going to get more bang for my buck. I'm going to get more damage for every punish if I'm on the ground because I can hit those combo starters more. I can do a GC, but then it's more risky with dodges and whatnot. If I'm more grounded, I'm more likely to be able to hit those sidelights to do more damage for winning neutral. And then I also have another sticky note called openings, where I kind of focus on my opponent missing. So it's kind of focus on that punish question mark and pick the right opening. Let your opponent like get them to miss, and then you have an opening. I call them openings when you're faced with that punish question mark. But deciding what is an obvious opening and what is a bait is hard. So that was a lot of information. We're going to rewatch this entire stock with that lens. This is a lot of information for you guys to take in. It's an advanced gameplay guide. So then another one right here. He's in the unreactable zone. He's just grounded horizontally to me. So I'm like, ha, I'm going to sidelight. I sidelight, barely picks up. I hit a nair because it's a true combo. And now I could go for recovery. It's not going to kill. What I do instead is I go for a downer. And the downer is about 4 dodge frames, a bit later, and maybe it's 5 or 6. But it's also unpunishable. Sometimes people can punish it, but it has a lot of horizontal momentum and drift that now I'm in a position where he's faced with the question, can I punish this down air? And I get some nice advantage state being on the ground here. Maybe I can go for a nair. It's good positioning. He goes for a dare. I dash jump into the unreactable zone, pressure him, bait out the dodge pressuring, so I see that, and then I nair. And then I almost get a nair Sarah because he has no dodge. Again, I win neutral, and then I'm thinking, can I combo? Well, he's got no dodge, so I'm going to go for a Sarah, and Sarah has a lot of momentum, so worst case, I'm probably not going to get hit. And you can see I don't get hit, and it's kind of worth it to go for, and we're back in neutral. I go for the end light in this unreactable zone because I see him rolling towards me, but he cancels that roll with a jump, hits a GC side sig. Very clean on his part. So he's up on this game, and we're going to watch the second stock as well. Probably not the third because I'm talking a lot. Let's watch that entire first stock again, and I want you, after listening to what I said, I know it's a lot to take in. I'm not going to pause this time. You're going to see what I mean in the moment. Pressure, 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 get the punish. And I'm using movement to bait. He uses an attack to bait. I don't get the punish. Now we're neutral, whatever, whatever. Pressure, pressure, pressure. I wasn't horizontally away enough to avoid that. Baiting with an attack there. Pressure, pressure, pressure. I hit the side light. I thought he didn't have a dodge. Happens. Okay, we're in neutral. Unreactable zone. Go for the D light. Whatever. Doesn't hit. Stupid bike in unreactable zone. I'm just getting too close to my opponent, basically. So then I react to that. I thought the end light would hit because he's only in yellow. I must have somehow, I guess it just doesn't work in yellow. It was kind of like, I thought it would work, but I guess it was too late in health. Unreactable zone to that bike. I shouldn't be in that position horizontally against orb like that. He reads a cross out pretty nicely. I didn't have a dodge. Could have went for a GCN sig, but he just used the GC. I just realized, so the recovery was optimal. I was wrong in before. My bad. I make mistakes. I go for an unreactable end light, but he slightly baits me out. Very good job from him. He definitely more predicted it than reacted to this end light. Like, you didn't know I was end lighting until, I guess you can hear it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. He just barely was able to jump before we're landing into my end light. So it was kind of the unreactable zone if you kind of think about it. Look how far away he is. He's in the reactable zone, not unreactable. I thought he was in the unreactable, so I thought the end light would hit, but he's just a little too far away from me, so that judgment was bad on my part, and then he gets a juicy side zone. And that's advanced Brawlhalla gameplay. If you're gold watching this, if you're platinum, you might be thinking Brawlhalla gameplay is this thing that is the people at the top deserve to be there. Bro, my reaction time is like 250 plus. I'm trash. I don't think I'm built to be a pro player. I don't think I ever was, but I just practice enough, and I know strategy, and that's what I'm explaining to you guys today, is the strategy behind Brawlhalla. So let's watch a little bit more. Not as much detail as that first stock. That was a very long stock. Again, unreactable zone. I'm just too close to them horizontally, and that is crazy. I thought the D-light would pick up because unreactable zone, but that was bad. I like to play in the reactable zone a bit more because then it's more consistent. Like, same thing here. I'm just going for an end light, but he's in a reactable zone. He's just avoiding it. It was just bad on my part. The end light actually baited. He's just bad at punishing it. I get a down air, and then he fast falls into my side air, and that's a stock. I go for the dare stare because it's kind of worth the kill option, but it might not be that optimal. Some pros are expecting it, but he's not a pro, and he runs right into it. Okay, so here is where I adapted and started to strike. So it's a lot of, I think, subconsciously positioning myself a bit more horizontally. I go to try and, he does a bait with an air. I get baited. Stage 1, he combos. He goes for a follow-up after that, which is pretty dumb, in all honesty, but it's whatever. Gets the weapon, and you can see me playing a little bit more horizontally here. The GC sidelight, So I side light, I dare, he's got no dodge, I end light, he still has no dodge, so I might side light here. I do, because he has no dodge. Good players would probably jump out of that, and I think I do that later, anticipating he does. So I hit a combo here. Now he has a dodge, so I actually go for a dare going inwards because it's a bait and can cover dodge reads in. He's not going to punish this, and he goes for it. You see what I mean? This is a bait and a follow-up at the same time. So if you got a move that works as a follow-up, but it's also really hard to punish, it's like 2 birds, 1 stone. So I dare going inwards to bait out this decision from him because I'm moving horizontally so much. I do a dash jump, he stares, I do a side light again, dare, I chase dodge forward, he dodges away, I might nair here, same thing, I can hold backwards, tons of momentum here. He actually calls me out for it, which is nice. Now I'm waiting. That was a bad Sarah, should have been a bit lower. And the exact same thing, I'm playing myself a little bit more horizontally than before. So I went into that unreactable zone. I get out of the unreactable zone. He's got no dodge. And then I can't follow up with an end light, so I jump Sarah, and this thing almost hits. Look at this. Super close. I went for the right option. He only had a dodge. I do a D-light. I try and position myself for the chase dodge. See he dodges up. Go for another D-light because I see him landing. And see how close this thing was to hitting. It's a good idea. Good dodge from my part. Down sig was the bait. Try and go for the end light to cover the bait. Very close to hitting. Like literally 1 frame off. I should have won that neutral. And then he's stacked again. He gets the end light, whatever. Now I gotta avoid. He goes for a nair follow-up. I dodge it, and I'm like, hey, I can punish that with a nair while landing. I go for that. Go for the recovery because it's unreactable. And then these were all unreactable, or like you can't punish them. The recovery is unreactable. The Sarah got momentum and he's unarmed. And then the exhaust recovery while I'm holding back. And then I position myself with the top platform horizontally. He's too close to me, so I Sarah. And then that's the stock right there. I played that much better. Won neutral a couple times. Had some really good advantage state. Good disadvantage. I got a nair. He had some bad advantage state. And then I get the stock. That was just me adapting and playing a lot better than him, in all honesty. Same thing here. I position myself a little bit more horizontally. Bait out that. The Sarah almost works, but I was just a little too far away. Try and land here. That was a good try on the D-light. Maybe I should have nared anticipating a jump. I thought you would land more horizontally, but he held all the way back. This is, yeah, I thought it would go a little bit more to the right. Smart on his part, bad on my part. Good nair, or good Sarah. Sarah nair isn't a true combo, but it covers a lot of dodges, and I get a lot of momentum, so it's good to go for it. And think about the 3 stages again. This is combo question mark. It's the 3rd stage, and now we're back in neutral. Now I'm baiting. This is, I didn't think the side light would hit, in all honesty. Yeah, that's crazy. I was like, what the heck? And then again, we're in this unreactable zone. I'm right next to him with a Sarah. I'm going to go for it, and it's slightly above the ground. I go for a nair here because look how close he is, and he's literally in my nair. Then he gets that cross up again. I still have my dodge, so he just goes for the recovery. He has no dodge there, but I thought I could punish that with a dare. I just slightly missed. Yeah, you can see how close this was to hitting. Never mind. I'm trash. Just bad positioning. Misinputted it. Side light there. Probably can't end light. So I chase dodge forward to position myself a bit better to react to a dodge. So I don't have a follow-up, so I reposition to react to his dodge. I go for a Sarah going inwards here because it's a bait. He bites, and then I get my Sarah to punish because I anticipate the jump, and then I Sarah because I thought he would jump the second time. Again, punish question mark. I'm like, oh, well, he doesn't have a dodge anymore, so he's probably going to jump, so I cover that. In worst case, I've got a full stock lead. It's just thinking pros and cons of everything you do. He's trying to land. He should have went a bit lower. He has no options. Down light, ground pound, I win the game. And that's advanced gameplay, guys. You can see it's everything in Brawlhalla. Just kind of think about it a bit more logically, and then think of it through the lens of the 3 stages. So in stage 1, you try and bait them, and then put yourself in a position near grounded to be able to get these true combo punishes to get more bang for your buck. Like I hit side light there a lot there, and then that creates more opportunities for strings later. I will go for these Sarahs and whatnot if I need to, and you can jump to win neutral and then just go for landing Sarah on Lance, but it's the same for all weapons. If you're grounded, you're going to be able to hit these true combos. You're just going to have to position yourself a bit different depending on the weapon. Stage 2, you combo them. Do you have a true combo follow-up? If not, you go for something maybe a safer follow-up. You can try and react to reads. You can chase dodge to react and position yourself a bit differently. There's a lot of pros and cons to every single option. So guys, what I'd recommend doing, again, think about the 3 stages, then try and learn and experiment with every single option that could be applicable in your stage. So if it's movement, experiment with every movement option. When is it most optimal to apply it to your game? Focus on one at a time, and you'll be able to add these habits naturally to your gameplay. For stage 2, know all the true combos. Know what's going to be a true combo and what's not going to be a true combo when you're done hitting the combo. Can you keep following up? Maybe experiment positioning yourself differently with chase dodges. See what these pros do in terms of positioning and follow-ups. You can be going for bait follow-ups like on cannon. Let's say you hit a downlight dare on cannon, reverse dare the opposite direction to try and bait them if you don't have a follow-up. Like, there's a lot of options like that. Or wait for dodges and then go for a side light. And knowing what's better than the other is dependent on your opponent. A lot of the time, if you can't seem to be getting those reactions, you try the other option. And whatever's the most optimal, again, for all these 3 stages. And then you rinse, repeat back the movement once you're done comboing and whatnot. Like, then you try and bait question mark. And if you get into that unreactable zone and you're really confident you can hit them because of the positioning, then you can just go for the hit. Long story short, that's some advanced Brawlhalla gameplay. If you got any questions, and I'm sure you probably do, let me know down below in the comments. I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. Thanks for watching. cosolix.com, link down below if you want to get some personal coaching from me. And I'll see you guys all later. Peace.